Welcome to the e-commerce playbook, brought to you by IWD Agency, where we share tools, tips, and tactics from industry-leading experts to help you take your e-commerce game to the next level. Now here's your host, Joe McFerrin.
Hey everybody, welcome to the e-commerce playbook. This is with IWD Agency. My name is Joe McFerrin. I have Z from High Conversion here. Z, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. So, for everybody that isn't familiar with High Conversion, what would be the 2-minute elevator pitch on High Conversion?
Yeah, I'll make it 1 minute.
Sure.
We are a software company. We are innovators. Our focus is e-commerce customer experience optimization. And years back, we started the company on the foundation of using intelligence, using the algorithms to drive the process. So our claim to fame is real-time decision-making.
Oh, awesome. So it's a tool to do A/B testing, conversion rate optimization for e-commerce sites mainly?
Yeah, so this is like testing on steroids. This is a tool that enables free format, interactive, running a lot of different hypotheses, ideas in parallel, and letting algorithms find what works, what's best
cool.
for you, and use directly measurable results.
So is that how you differentiate from the optimized leads and the other conversion rate optimization tools of the world?
Yeah, I would differentiate us in multiple ways. Starting with technology. So ability to do things in real time is unique, and we are not aware of any other company doing it in the effective way.
Mm-hmm.
The competitors are going in that direction. They are using multi-arm bandits or whatever tricks of the trade, but this is a high-level science. Like, we build our technology using PhDs and research in optimization theory. So putting that on the side, the main difference is the business model. We build our platform to be collaborative, meaning that merchants and technology partners together with us are enabling running many of these things across many merchant sites. And our role is to enable that collaboration, provide data sharing and quick learning, because there's so many things that needs to be done. And a single technology company, single agency, single merchant can only touch very small percentage of possibilities that exist to create better customer experience and to drive results on the site. By creating collaborative environment, which is the most unique aspect of our platform, we now enable basically crowd wisdom. We enable collaboration across the entire industry, which then helps everybody, helps merchants to achieve the best results in the shortest period of time, and then helps our technology partners help merchants to drive those results, because they really need help. They need data analysis, they need implementation, they need all other services that agency like yours is capable of providing.
Sure. Yeah. You need someone to be able to use the tool and implement it and put all the design aspects into it and
Absolutely.
the theories and hypotheses.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. One of the exciting real world examples that we've been working together on is the PayPal mobile optimization initiative. That's been a very exciting study that we've been partnered with you guys and partnered with PayPal on. And it's been a lot of fun and very eye-opening as far as the studies and the tests we've been doing. Do you want to tell our audience a little bit about the study?
Yeah, so actually, this is the community initiative, and PayPal is one of the main sponsors of the community initiative, but they will tell you themselves, this is not created to be something that serves PayPal. This is created to serve the whole community of merchants. Indirectly, it will serve PayPal. Indirectly, it will serve merchants, agencies, everybody win. It's like creating a collaborative environment. So that's where our collaborative platform opened the possibility to create that community. And the community is driven by the main pain point that almost every merchant has today, which is the need to create better mobile customer experience.
Yeah, sure. Because I think that a good point to note is that mobile conversion rate is so low compared to desktop conversion rate on checkout. So it's one of those things that we're all trying to work together to figure out if we can solve that problem.
Yes, we call that mobile revenue gap.
Mm-hmm.
And the trend is that gap is getting bigger by the day.
Mm-hmm.
It took e-commerce companies 15, 20 years to create decent desktop versions of their e-commerce storefront.
Mm-hmm.
We do not have another 15, 20 years to fuss around with mobile.
Right.
So there is urgency to develop new best practices, to develop methods, to develop solutions that would close that gap. So that was the initial mission, and that's the starting mission of the community.
Mm-hmm.
To make it possible, we created standardized best practices, meaning that different merchants and different partners are trying the same things.
Mm-hmm.
There's hundreds of possible things that people promote as a best practices. What we did, we productized them. We made them available. So if somebody is saying you should skip this, do that, add this feature, add this capability to your site, or follow this rule or something, we put everything to the test.
Sure.
And we do it across larger number of merchants. And then we share data with everybody in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So by doing that, what we are accomplishing is we are finding the common denominators. We are finding the best practices that have a broad reach, that have a common use. So that provides every merchant that joins the community with a high starting point. Like you mentioned, competing testing solutions.
Mm-hmm.
In that model, everybody starts from ground zero.
Right.
You need
Exactly.
to figure
Yeah.
out your own
What you want to
hypothesis.
test. Right.
What you want to test. Then you need to have somebody who's going to code, prepare that test, do it on your behalf, and
Mm-hmm.
hit or miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And when you look at the list of possibilities, things that you can do, there's thousands of them. And
Yeah.
when you do it one off, you will try few of them. And very often, if initial few are not producing an immediate a good result, people give up and they don't do anything.
Yeah.
So the community creates that high starting point because we are right now trying 130, 150 different best practices. And you as a merchant, you should start with those that are like low-hanging fruit, that have high success rate across the board. You would not know it if there was no community like the one that your organization is supporting and participating and helping us build. So by starting with high probability experiments or hypotheses, you have high probability to get results from the initial engagement with the community. Another aspect of the community is every merchant is unique. So that's why we are presenting community results not as which test won,
Mm-hmm.
but more as like distribution of results so that every merchant can see that each one of the experiments can be positive or negative.
Yeah, it really depends on their audience.
Right.
Yeah.
You have a histogram, you have a distribution of results, which gives you ability to judge and decide that this is something, that you want to pursue on your end.
Mm-hmm.
So that minimizes the risk, but then to maximize the upside, each one of the merchants, with the help of your agency or partners like yours, should find what's unique for that merchant.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. Right. So the community and shared results are giving you a high probability starting point, but then continued engagement and continued experimentation and optimization are then creating market leadership. It's creating the long-term unique value for that particular merchant because every brand has a different audience. It has a uniqueness of the products, demand in the marketplace, and hundreds of different attributes, which as a participant of community, and the data and instrumentation that we provide enables for each merchant to find what's the best for that organization.
Sure. Yeah, and if you want to see some of the results that we've been putting out, it's on mobileoptimize.org, and I think the study is being done on currently Magento and BigCommerce. Is that correct?
Yes. So we are building this community effort by individual e-commerce platforms, because the technology is made like to simplify deployment and use and scale everything. We are creating technical capabilities that are specific to a platform. So right now it's Magento 1, Magento 2 specific, and that's the first community that we build. And mobilize.org is that first chapter. It's specific, and it is also supported by Magento, Adobe itself, and many other partners who are collaborating in this effort. BigCommerce is the new chapter that we are building, and we also have initial work done for Shopify and Salesforce.
That's very exciting.
These would grow as community is growing. We will open additional chapters for each one of those platforms, making again sure that we address uniqueness of each one of those e-commerce platforms so that we can effectively deliver results for merchants.
Sure. And, what are some of the KPIs that you use to judge the successfulness of a study? I know conversion rate is the obvious one, but aren't there some other key metrics that you guys look at?
Actually, it is the revenue per visit.
Okay.
To us, when we started this initiative, it was obvious. If you have e-commerce site, you want to maximize your revenues.
Right.
The metric that directly correlates, that is directly proportional to revenue growth, is amount of revenue you get from every visit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And along the way, we have to educate marketplace that conversion rate is indicator, but not directly proportional to revenues. In essence, revenue per visit is the blended metrics that includes both the conversion rate and average order value.
If you have a higher conversion rate but lower average order value, then you're losing money.
Net, you can lose money. You can have you can do crazy thing. You can do some promotion or something. And fool yourself
50% off of everything, and then exactly. Yeah.
And then you skew your result, and you think it's going to work all the time for you. And in the process, you draw your revenue down. So variant of that can happen, all the time. So to ensure that merchants are getting more revenues, because ultimately that's the main KPI, that's the main mission.
Yeah, totally.
And revenue per visit is the main metric.
So I think on mobileoptimize.org, there's a whole bunch of studies that have been successful for a lot of different merchants. Do you know any examples of those that you'd want to share with the audience? Yeah.
So there are, I believe, few dozens of those experiments that are publicly available on the site. So any person who visits, he can see visually what's the hypothesis, picture before, picture after, and then see the types of results and learning that we had. There are certain things that potentially look very simple, but they are creating a big impact. One often used example is just adding lock icon to add to cart button.
Yeah, totally. Something so small like that.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. It's total gimmick. It's really crazy, but it illustrates one of the main points. The type of change, how hard or how easy or how big that change, does not correlate with what kind of results you can get. Often people run very complex tests and get neither or none result. And then you surprise yourself with potentially something that at first looked like very unimportant to you, but that moved the needle significantly for clients. So that little icon that costs nothing. It's not trust badge. It's not a big service that you pay. It just like resonated with the audience with large number of people.
Right.
We have a system. So like the community was initialized, focus on mobile experience, but that doesn't mean we exclude other form factors. The experience is if you find something that works on mobile devices, typically that works on other form factors, not the other way around. So mobile is like leading indicator of new type of experiences because it's new type of buyer. It's not a mobile. The problem with mobile is not the small form factor.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the case, then responsive design will solve that problem.
Right. Sure.
Mapping the content to smaller form factor. It is actually a new type of buyer. It's new type of behavior that people have on a site. It's no longer a continuous experience. It's scattered. It's interrupted. It's like attention disorder deficit.
Right. Exactly. You could be at a coffee shop or
on the behavior. It's like convenience. It's like something that anything that requires an extra effort is potentially creating friction and creating problems with the revenues on the site. So mobile is primary focus. The next one we said, why don't we go and focus on the area of the site where we are closest to revenues? So checkout.
Mm-hmm.
So the first wave of experiments were focused strictly on all the issues in checkout. So, logical things, how many form fields you will enter. So let's say if you auto-populate the city or address or,
zip code or
you reduce number of entry points. So we created the experiments that enable you to validate that. As we do this across the board with many participants, something that's super logical, zip autofill, it's like it's gimme. It must work because instead of all the rest, you just enter zip and it auto-populates.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we discover initially that it works well for one group of users, not the other.
Yeah, right. That's why you have to test. You can't just assume that it's going to work for everybody.
And actually, it worked very well for desktop, but not for mobile. So after further investigation, which if you do it personally yourself, like if you run one test for a client, you will come up with conclusion it doesn't work on mobile and you don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, as a community, since we had the partners like you, the people said that's not possible. There must be some technical reason why it's not working. So we made the hypothesis that mobile browsers memorize much better form fields than desktop browsers.
Mm-hmm.
And that because of that this experiment that was auto-populating is potentially doing it in a way that interfered with the data that was memorized
by that browser already.
Mobile browser.
Yeah.
So once we applied that hypothesis, we created a new version of that experiment. So now we see the consistency in results across the board. Mm-hmm. Again, if we did it ourselves with few clients or your agency with few clients, you will not notice this. But because we do it on hundreds of merchants, we are able to see the patterns. We are able to see data sets that are raising the issues or giving us new ideas what else we should be doing.
Yeah, all very interesting. Yeah, and I think everyone people that are participating in the study, there is a average revenue per visit increase, and I know it's on the site, but I don't remember the number. But another interesting fact of the study is that it actually doesn't cost the merchant anything to participate in it. I think that it's a community driven effort, and so there's a lot of resources that are dedicated to it. That are is that correct?
It is. So at this very moment, we have sponsors who are helping initial wave of merchants who are joining the community to get full community experience without spending money on their own.
Yeah.
So as a part of that initial, basically welcoming experience into the community, we jointly, including your organization, are providing the initial wave of experiments, typically 3 to 5, A/B type tests
Sure.
that new merchant gets as a part of that welcome package.
Yeah.
And this is something that is delivering an immediate results.
Mm-hmm.
It's proving that the community has good practices, that technology is working, that our partners are capable to deliver effectively these results for merchant. So to get better grip on value that merchants are getting, we also solicited help from Forrester Research that did a total economic impact study
Oh, that's awesome.
to validate the return on investment that a participant in community will get. So the initial experience, it's at no cost. It basically educates merchants and removes the risk of trying new technology, new services. But then there's a premium version, meaning if you want to continue to stay in the community and optimize, because ultimately the real value for merchants is to continually optimize and maximize revenues on their side. So Forrester did study and they interviewed merchants, they analyzed results that they received. And on average, merchants were getting 9% something revenue lift.
Wow. Yeah, that's great. And, like you mentioned, it's a great way to get an introduction to conversion rate optimization, to start doing A/B testing for a very little commitment. And then once you can prove to the organization that it is valuable, then you can continue doing it, doing more studies and more. Yeah.
It becomes a new way of finding the business solution. The alternative is you have to individually, meaning if you're a merchant, you have to go and select the technology, one of those tools. So you can make a good decision or a bad decision.
Exactly.
And
yeah.
you have to find the expert partner who can advise you to do that.
To implement it. Yeah,
Like
exactly.
those partners are rare. There are not many companies who have that experience. Then potentially you need to hire your internal resources. You need to have somebody who's going to manage that, who's going to run. It becomes quickly too much.
Exactly.
And that's why 80% of merchants plus are not doing anything.
Yeah, which is wild because
Like
it's
80 to 90% of merchants are doing nothing to improve revenue lift on their site. They're spending all their budget on driving traffic to the site.
Exactly.
You need to drive traffic, but if you just take one small percentage of that marketing spend, deploy it on your e-commerce site for better e-commerce experience, your return on investment will be through the roof.
Yeah.
So
it's
community replaces that complicated procurement, organizing, setup process with everything is in place. Fully integrated technology, the best practices, and partners ready to serve you, on mouse click. You don't need to spend time to learn something, study, research, procure, buy. We as a team, meaning your organization and our platform and other players are ready to serve that marketplace. It's like Uber approach to experience optimization.
Sure. Yeah, so I think I don't want to take up all of your day. Start kind of wrapping up here, but what's next steps for high conversion? Do you have anything exciting down the road?
Being technology innovators, every day is a new day and new excitement. But as far as the commercial usability, things that will benefit our partners, we are about to release a new version of our technology. And the goal was to repackage software and make it look more like Netflix.
Cool.
The idea is to break one large monolithic application that has all these testing, personalization capabilities and modules, and then package them in a way that average merchant will learn something and get intrigued to potentially use it. So that we meet merchants at the level of pain points. So if they just care about one thing, let's say I want to optimally provision my payment options in checkout funnel. This is one discrete thing that you can use.
Yeah.
If you want to do something bigger, you want to use more data, you want to use more, everything is available, and you can pick and choose at your time and interest level to use as much as you want. So this would enable scalability. This would drive demand of many more users to come into the community, and this would enable us to collaborate and produce better results for everybody.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds very exciting. Can't wait to check it out. Well, Z, I appreciate your time today and joining us for the show. There's a lot of information. Once again, if you're interested in the study, go to mobileoptimize.org. This is Z from High Conversion. Once again, thank you for your time today. I really appreciate you being on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Z. Talk to you later. Bye.